So first I will read that from
Yeah.
the All India magazine.
Yes, please.
Yeah. For human nature is so limited, so full of contradictions, and so exclusive in its movements that if one wants to reject love in its lower form, that is to say, human love as human beings experience it, if one makes an inner effort to reject it, one usually rejects the entire capacity of feeling love and becomes like a stone. And then sometimes one has to wait for years or centuries before there is a reawakening in oneself of the capacity to receive and manifest love. First, this para itself need discussion, I think, for me.
Yes, yes. So
Mm.
I think if you would see, we will have to go closer to how we
Mm.
love, what we
Mm.
call as love. And we will see that there is a mixture of, there is a want from that person. There is a demand from that person. Always, almost always.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
No, and that becomes the mixture that mother talks about, that the love,
Mm.
human love is also coming from the divine love only, but
Mm.
always there is this mixture, and this mixture is coming from this separate entity which I call as myself,
Right.
that separate entity in me which feels a lack, which
Mm.
always feels that something is missing.
Mm.
And that entity, uh, I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Maybe it's not an entity, we will have to
Yeah,
explore.
yeah.
So maybe it's just a figment of my imagination, a
Mm.
hallucination, that there is something in me which feels this lack,
Mm.
and that something always tries to fulfill itself.
Okay.
Okay, so this person smiles at me, I will feel better. That person agrees to my need, I will feel better. And when we see that maybe temporary relief we may get,
Mm.
but that
Yeah.
lack never goes away, that lack always stays, right?
Correct.
And this is what we call as love. This is
Mm.
not love, actually. This is just you fulfill my need and I fulfill your need. It's like, it's I don't know what we can call it. And what when we think about love, so when you know about neti neti, right?
Mm. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I
Mm.
see that I'm able to see that, yes, I can see thoughts coming and going.
Mm.
So there
Mm.
is something in me, I, which I
Mm.
call as I, not
Mm.
talking about the separate self, I,
Mm. I
one,
okay.
the one which watches thoughts come and go.
Yeah.
It means it is not thoughts.
Mm.
Then it sees, again, I look at my feelings. I see
Mm.
that my feelings come and go,
Mm.
but I always remain.
Correct.
So I am not my feeling.
Mm.
I see that the body may be diseased, but
Mm.
I don't feel diseased. The body is going through pain. I don't feel that there is something lacking in me owing to that pain.
Correct.
And the more and more we do this, we fall back into a state of silence,
Mm. Yeah,
just
yeah.
being who we are,
Mm.
just being aware, just being there. And that state in which all of this is happening, actually, that consciousness is love.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
are love. We cannot
Mm.
love, actually. Matlab, we obviously we can spill out that love, but who we truly are, that essence itself is love.
Okay.
And when I understand it more and get anchored in it more and more,
Mm.
my
Mm.
relationships also have that fragrance of love.
Okay.
Because in my relationships now, I'm not demanding, because there is no lack that I want to fulfill. Now this can be a relationship which is coming out of love. It's like a giving of myself. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
so contented that I give
Mm.
myself out.
Correct.
So I think, and there may be obviously many many more layers of discussion on it, but
Mm.
this is what I feel at the moment, that who we are is love.
Love.
And
Okay.
when we feel a love for the other person, In
Yeah.
that love also we feel as if the separation has gone away, and there is a oneness that I feel with that person, because
Yeah,
that,
for a second, I could feel that. Yeah, you told
yeah,
no that
yeah,
business. Yeah, yeah.
it happens in our intimate relationships. Maybe it happened
Mm,
once and we never felt it
mm,
again. That is also possible.
yeah.
That
Mm,
what we call as falling in love, people fall
mm,
in love, romantic love also, so
mm.
there you feel this oneness with that person. It's
Correct.
not the person exactly, it's the
Correct.
feeling that person gives.
Feeling. Yeah. Correct.
And what we do is we keep on sticking to that person,
Person. Yeah.
and that feeling never maybe comes again, right? That feeling of
Mm,
oneness that we felt. So if
correct.
we look at this also, we see that there is this background oneness of the being, background awareness, in
Mm,
which all of us are undivided.
mm,
And that is
correct.
what we crave for. That is what, when we feel that, okay, my frequency is matching with you. There is
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
state of oneness that I feel with you.
Mm, yeah.
So, and that is what is love, that ending of the separation of you and
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what. In second pair also. Therefore, the best way when love comes, in whatever form it may be, as you explained, yeah, is to try and pierce through its outer appearance and find the divine principle which is behind and which gives it existence. Naturally, it is full of snares and difficulties, but it is more effective. That is
Yeah.
to say, instead of ceasing to love because one loves wrongly, one must cease to love wrongly and want to love well. Okay, yeah.
So this divine principle that mother talks of,
Mm,
this is
yeah,
that background oneness in which we all feel one.
yeah, correct.
That is the divine principle which is there in each and every person. And that is the reason also, that falling in love also becomes like an addiction for some of us, right?
Correct.
That we becomes too attached to people who we
Yeah,
love.
yeah,
We become attached because we are liking that feeling of oneness that we feel with that person.
okay, okay.
It's not that person that did anything.
Mm,
It's
mm,
that owing to whatever chemistry that happened, I felt such a state of oneness where that
mm,
separation of two individuals ceased to be. It did not
okay,
exist.
okay,
And that
okay.
is what we really enjoy.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Then, for instance, love between human beings in all its forms, the love of parents for children, of children for parents, of brothers and sisters, of friends and lovers, is all tainted with ignorance, selfishness, and all the other defects which are man's ordinary drawbacks. So instead of completely ceasing to love, which besides is very difficult, as Aurobindo says, which would simply dry up the heart and serve no end, one must learn how to love better, to love with devotion, with self giving, self abnegation, and to struggle, not against love itself, but against its distorted forms, against all forms of monopolizing, of attachment, possessiveness, jealousy, and of all the feelings which accompany these main movements. Not, this is the thing, not to want to possess, to dominate, and not to want to impose one's will,
Yeah.
one's whims, one's desires, not to want to take, to receive, but to give, not to insist on the other's response. This part is very difficult for me actually.
Yeah.
N- Naturally, I don't have any that position and domination. I don't have, but
Yes.
not to insist on others' response.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is difficult for each one of us. And the first
Mm.
line, the second paragraph that you read, can you read the
Mm.
first two lines? First two lines?
Second paragraph, huh?
The second thing that you read,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
part,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
where
I'm
it was
reading.
selfishness, something like
Yeah,
selfishness. Yeah.
against all forms of monopolizing, of attachment, possessiveness, jealousy, and
Before
all the
that,
feelings
before that,
before
before
that. Huh? Okay. Yeah. To love with devotion, with self giving, self abnegation, and
before
to struggle. Before that,
Yes.
okay. Okay, I'll read. Yeah, for instance, love between human beings in all its forms, the love of parents for children, of
Yeah.
children for parents,
Yeah.
of brothers and sisters, of friends and lovers, is all tainted with ignorance, selfishness. Yeah.
Ignorance. Yeah. Just stay
Uh,
here. Just stay
yeah.
here. So we will
Yeah.
talk about this. This is very
Mm,
interesting. You know,
mm,
so this is tainted with ignorance and
mm,
selfishness, right?
mm.
So what is this ignorance that it is tainted with? This is the ignorance that I am a separate person
Okay.
who lacks something.
Mm, mm,
This is the ignorance. To know oneself as a separate and limited identity. Because that separate identity will always, if I focus more and more on it, that will always be lacking. That will always be lacking. Because who we are is infinite. So
yeah.
if I trap myself into an limited image of a person, that this is
Mm,
the body, this is
mm,
the person I am, this is the role I play,
mm,
I will
mm,
forever be limited.
mm.
And
Correct.
I will forever be
Mm.
acting like a beggar. Forever.
Uh,
So this is the ignorance that I am this separate person. And when mother says self
mm,
abnegation is neti neti of this separate person.
mm, mm.
And falling back into that pure awareness that I am. Because that pure awareness does not depend on the body, on the mind, on the feeling. It does not depend on my past or the
Correct,
future.
correct, correct. Yeah.
So this is the ignorance that, and that is why the focus that I talk again and again about remembrance of who I truly am.
Yeah.
So neti neti goes parallelly with remembrance of who I
Mm.
truly am. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that neti neti is very helpful when I feel detached. Detached from all the circumstances of life and detached from maybe from persons. But when you want to love truly,
You cannot want to love truly. It is not a possibility.
mm,
You cannot love actually. You can just be love.
okay,
The
okay,
moment I put an effort to love someone, it will be mixed with everything that is rubbish.
correct.
So that is why the focus is not totally on I should love other person. The focus is totally on me, that I
Mm,
should be established in my essence, which is love. So whatever act I do will be a
mm,
loveful act. I cannot love.
okay,
There cannot be an effort here.
okay.
Yeah.
Now I understood. Yes.
Effortless, almost effortless love. You know, just
Mm,
like a flower, if it wants to say, oh my God, I want to spread out my fragrance. You know,
correct,
it does not have to worry about the spreading out of the fragrance, you know. It
correct.
is the fragrance.
Mm,
Wherever the flower goes, the fragrance goes. So wherever I go, love
mm,
goes. I cannot put an effort, you know, that I want to love this person. And I'm seeing more and more that this if one really truly
mm,
establishes oneself more and more in this
mm,
presence, loving presence, it is not
mm.
a possibility that you will be able to love a couple of persons more and the others less.
Yeah.
That cannot
Yeah,
happen.
it will automatically that Yastu Sarvani Bhudani, yeah. That,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I will cease to differentiate between
Mm,
my own family, my own friends, and people who I meet,
yeah, yeah,
strangers.
correct,
Yeah.
correct. The answer comes here, yeah. Not want to take, to receive, but to give, yeah.
So you are
As you
giving,
explained, if,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
like a
Not to
fragrance
insist
moving
on,
out.
yeah, others' response, but be content with one's own love, not to seek one's personal interest and joy and the fulfillment of one's personal desire, but to be satisfied with the giving of one's love and affection, and not to ask for any response, simply to be happy to love, nothing more.
Yeah, yeah. Now this is effortless
Mm,
process. Here I
yeah,
don't have to put effort.
correct, correct.
I'm just working
How I,
on myself that I should be stationed where my true being is. Once I am there, whatever act I do, it is not possible that it is not, coming out of love. While if I am stationed in the separate self,
Yeah, correct.
I will always be lacking. I will not be able to love. Yeah.
Expecting that
Expecting,
response.
demanding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
In Savitri also we read no that that love came to her and love found a very
Yeah. Yeah.
those lines.
Substance of, as if its own substance,
Own substance. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll just come. I have to put my charger on. I'll just come
Yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It's very nice, this topic about love. I really like it a lot. And it seems that through all the life experiences, as if we are just learning how to love, as you are asking, how to love truly.
Yeah. Truly.
Because then we recognize by our failures that this cannot be the way to love. This is not, something is wrong, something is not right. And
Received so many blows.
yeah, 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 yeah.
It is good actually to receive that. Then only we will start thinking about it and really.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mother is the answer. Beautiful answers, really.
Yeah,
And as you explained, it is very clear now. And also, this one also I read. I remember your, thought, no, that you always tell be with the emotion and allow that emotion. And so here, when I read this, I think to work for your perfection, the first step is to become conscious of yourself, of the different parts of your being and the respective activities.
yeah.
So, yeah, when accept we are angry, we are fearful,
Yes.
yeah, we have that greediness. Only when we accept that feeling, only we can find out, no, the different parts of our being. Yeah, otherwise, yeah, that's so. And
I think we
this
can talk
one,
about this also shortly. The
yeah,
the thing
mm,
that which is being with emotions, being with whatever is
yeah,
arising.
yeah,
So mother used to talk about a lot, that she used to stay with her movements. She used to watch her movements rise
mm,
and go down and rise and go down. So for example, a movement of anger is coming
mm,
in me. What we usually do is that we see that, oh, we don't even see, actually the anger comes and
yeah,
we become angry. There is hardly any space. The more we are able to slow down, look at our movements sensitively, the more I see that there is a space. So the movement of anger is arising, starting to arise, and there is something that sees this anger arising. There is a gap the more we slow down in life. And now I see, and I see this happening, and I'm not saying that go away. That struggle is not there. I'm
okay.
just watching it happen, and something beautiful happens here. That I do not feel the need to become angry. So this movement is there. Now, the owing to the fact that I was able to slow down and watch this movement, I see that as if there was created a gap of
Mm.
distance, in time. So I saw this movement rising, rising, and I said, yes, you are there. Yes, you are there. I see you. You can be there, but I am under no compulsion to act through you. And it does not have the power. And slowly, it as if it was not there, it goes away, it fades away. And I'm seeing more and more this for all the movements, like even
Often,
jealousy.
yeah.
It's
Mm.
same with all the movements. And this is what I feel is said when I talk about stay with your emotions. It does not mean that I have to act when I am angry. It means that I have to watch even more sensitively, with
Mm.
more sensitivity, that rising up of any emotion, letting it stay in awareness. And then I see I don't need to act according to that feeling. I don't need to become angry. I don't need to act in hate. I just can let it be. It does not have any power. And just like the smoke of an incense sticks, it just passes away. It passes away as if, just nothing
Yeah.
happened. So I did not resist that feeling. I did not go by an impulsion. I just allowed it some space in my being. That's all. But
Even the
this,
fear
yeah,
also, yeah.
fear
Fear
also,
also.
fear also.
Mm.
So usually when we talk about fear, we just label it as fear.
Mm.
That the
Yeah.
moment I see, label it
Mm.
fear.
Yeah.
And then I think that I know what fear is. But I have actually never met fear.
Mm.
So what I do is that I see fear arising. I see fear arising. And uh, I don't feel afraid, because the moment I feel afraid, I'm here. I'm
Mm.
watching it rise. I'm watching it rise. And as if, yeah, you can be there. You can be there. I don't have to act according to you.
Mm.
And again, it just loses power over me. It loses it. I don't have to act according to the fear. I just act what I feel is right in that moment.
Correct.
What I feel is to be done in that moment. That is what I do. And I see that actually I've never met fear at all. We talk about fear, but we never meet fear. Either we
Yeah.
are trying to push it away, go away, go away, why are you here? Or we,
Otherwise, we'll
or
act.
we, yeah, or we act, being
Mm.
afraid, we act.
Yeah, wow. Mm.
Yeah.
Correct.
So this is actually a very nice
Mm.
exploration, when we
Beautiful.
begin
Yeah,
to,
it is beautiful. Yeah.
yeah.
About this practice of observation, another aspect which mother said is at the end of the day or any time during the day, try to have a quiet time and reflect all the activities that you have or the emotions that you pass throughout the day. And she said that use it like a screen
Yeah.
and reflect on that how you behaved. Like, okay, what Monica ji said at one point, you see the anger emerging or jealousy or fear emerging. At many times what happens is we are so engaged at that point, probably we did not
Mm.
notice,
Yeah.
later we realize.
Yeah.
It's better if we keep what in modern time they say, if you keep a me time and then you reflect on that, uh, s- all the activities of the day or emotions, high points and down points, and then you see how we behaved at each point of time or each challenge that was thrown to us in life, whether we behaved as per our ideals, whether we could not behave, and not. And what the modern psychologists are also saying is, do not judge. Do not judge, because you are bound to be failure. I think I shared one quote. I liked it so much. I shared it with Monica ji couple of days back. I really liked it. When mother is saying, and it's incidentally in December 1972, 17 December, she said, everybody is imperfect and has to progress. Keep firm and confident. I liked it so much because
Yeah.
we have to understand we are all human beings, we are not perfect. So do not judge yourself if you don't see that you have acted. If you have been imperfect, just
Yeah.
accept it and move ahead.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that a ritual of that screen is beautiful. I think I've also read that. And uh, It's actually very nice that if we also talk about awareness, this is one of the examples that many masters use, that awareness is like a screen on which everything is happening, and you are that awareness. So you are untouched by the drama. The scene may be really bad, ugly scene may be happening, yet the awareness is allowing it to happen and also untouched by the happening, at the same time. So also this reflecting on the daily activities, like a screen, if one is not able to slow down through the day. Yeah, yeah. And slowly, I feel that slowly that slowing down comes through the day also. You cannot help but slow down. It's like a thing that happens. It happens. Yeah. You become more and more sensitive to each and every movement of life. Life is not passing you by. You are there. You're aware. Yeah.
And also that imagination, no, you are vast as sea or sky. That is
Yes.
also helping a lot. Recently, as you told, I mean, I'm developing that actually.
Mm.
Even if anything arises in the family, I feel it. It is a small wave, a ripple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful.
it's very nice
Yeah.
actually.
It is
Yeah,
very
that
liberating.
too.
Yeah.
Very liberating.
Otherwise we give these little instances
Mm,
so much of big
yeah,
stake, that we,
fully into it and
yeah, yeah. And that also is a part of our journey, because at
mm,
times we do give it so much of power. We get so many blows owing to that.
yeah,
And then we realize that we don't have to give it that much of power. Yeah.
mm, that love also very beautiful thing. It is very
Yeah.
we can.
Is it still there? Something that you were reading, or is it over?
Yeah, that it is there actually. This and yeah. You must learn to distinguish these different parts one from another so that you may become clearly aware of the origin of the movements that occur in you, the many impulses, reactions, and conflicting wills that drive you to action. It is an assiduous study which demands much perseverance and sincerity. For man's nature, especially his mental nature, has a spontaneous tendency to give a favorable explanation for everything he thinks, feels, says, and does. It is only by observing these movements with great care, by bringing them, as it were, before the tribunal, yeah, as he told, no, of our highest ideal, with a sincere will to submit to its judgment, that we can hope to form in ourselves a discernment that never errs. This work of unification requires much time to be brought to some degree of perfection.
Yeah.
Therefore, in order to accomplish it, we must arm ourselves with patience and endurance, with a determination to prolong our life as long as necessary for the success of our endeavor. Yeah, it is very interesting. If you start doing this, no, you won't feel bored also. The
Bored.
life also
Yeah.
will, yeah,
Beautiful.
very joyful and beautiful,
Yeah.
really.
Yes. Very true.
Only in Mother's Shamda's teachings, this life about this life, no, they explained it in very beautiful way. To
Yeah.
prolong our life as long as necessary for the success of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because other philosophies they are telling it is true. It is not true. So don't give importance to the outer
Yes.
nature. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But till today, I can't understand how can't you give that importance to outer nature because through I don't know. I felt like that through outer nature. It is. I feel it is a temple. Only we when we keep the temple clean, that is the outer nature clean, we can go inside. I feel like that. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. You. No, I am
That
sure.
question.
I'm sure that
Hmm.
has truth
Hmm.
to it. Otherwise, that
Hmm.
is the instrument that is
Yeah.
manifesting the divine. So you cannot
Yeah.
ignore it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is
Without
really.
purpose, why
Yeah.
to manifest all this body and emotions and why, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
There is no need. Only that soul is enough. And so
Hmm.
journey is enough.
Very true. This is actually looks like a humongous divine adventure,
Mm,
which
yeah.
divine has created for himself.
Yeah.
And if we look at it from one point of view, we see that this thing called I, this
Mm-mm.
separate entity called I, is actually not needed much in this adventure. It's I am actually not needed. So it's the divine adventure. The instrument is his, the soul is his. Where does I
Mm.
come into picture? It's actually very funny if we think about it. But then we create all these stories, that life gives us, and obviously go through it one by one by one.
Your
Yeah.
voice is breaking.
Acha, I'm sorry. Maybe some internet
Yeah.
issue.
Now it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah, I finished almost.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
great. So, Jishnuji, would you like to share? Do you have something to share?
So one thing I read and I was looking for it. It's something very basic. It is what is spirituality? And I was looking for this, that what Mother Shurvinda has said about it. And I found that in one All India magazine, I said Shurvinda is saying spirituality has meant a recognition of something greater than mind and life, the aspiration to a consciousness pure, great, divine beyond our normal mental and vital nature, a surge and rising of the soul in man out of the littleness and bondage of our lower parts towards a greater thing secret within him. Similarly, another paragraph.
Hmm.
It is spirituality when you begin to become aware of another consciousness than the ego and begin to live in it or under its influence more and more. It is that consciousness, wide, infinite, self existent, pure of ego, etc., which is called spirit. Basically, the abolition of I, which we were discussing.
Yeah. 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 Beautiful. Kabir says, जब मैं था तब हरी नहीं, अब हरी है तो मैं नहीं, प्रेम गली अति साकरी, जामे दो न समाए. So that's also the मैं is the ego, and Hari is that divinity, that higher consciousness that Jishnuji was talking about. So although the play is happening in the higher consciousness, yet owing to the wall of ego, that is totally obscured. The higher consciousness is totally obscured. It is not visible as if. And it's really nice, when we talk about surrender also, that the dissolution of this ego, the more and more thinning of this ego, so that the Hari, the divine, can now manifest itself fully through what you were saying, Chitraji, the instrument, the mind, life, and the body. So that the instrument is not captured by the ego for its own purposes, rather, it serves the master, which we have forgotten. Yeah. And again, Prem Gali Ati Sakari, Jame Do Na Samay. And this is the mixture which we were talking of earlier, that human love becomes a mixture. Why? Because Prem Gali itni sakri hai, it is such a narrow road. Love is such a narrow road. There two cannot be. So ego cannot be there with the divine. Only divine will exist. Only divine will exist. Ego will not have any say then. And that is what we were talking earlier, that you can be love, and then whatever you do will be out of that love. Yeah. Okay, so let me then take up something. Let me. So I was reading about remedy for suffering and pain. Suppose that as a result of some illness or other, there is some sort of pain at a precise spot. So mother is saying that it is hurting very much, you are suffering a lot. First point, do not stress the pain by telling yourself it's so painful, it's so painful. So do not begin to victimize yourself. That is the first point. Don't say, oh, this pain is unbearable, oh, it's becoming worse and worse. I shall never be able to bear it. So these are the suggestions which are totally to be avoided. And then, yeah. And mother says that the more you attend to these kind of suggestions, the more you will see the pain will increase. That, oh my God, it is too much, I cannot bear it and all. Right? So the first point mother says is to control yourself sufficiently to avoid all these negative suggestions. And second point mother is saying that if you know how to concentrate, how to be quiet, and if you can bring into yourself certain peace of any kind. And then mother talks about other different kinds of peace. Mental peace, it may be vital peace, peace at the feelings level, emotional level, it's completely settled. Mental level, the thoughts are settling down, peace is there. Or a psychic peace, that you are touched in with this greater reality, that is oozing out peace in your being. So it may be any kind of peace. Then you try to realize within yourself a state of peace, or attempt to enter into a conscious contact with a force of peace, right? And mother says that once you succeed more or less completely, suppose, then if you can draw the peace into yourself and bring it to your solar plexus, this tummy, around the region around the tummy, between the tummy and the navel, I think that's the region. We are not talking of inner states, but of the physical body. Mother says exactly in the physical body, at that level, you should be able to bring that peace, as if we are focusing that peace on that. It appears very theoretical, but it's not. I have practiced this in worst of my times, and I saw that I was going through really a big emotional turmoil, and I went inside and I realized there was such a vast peace that I felt in the vital region, this region in the lower abdomen and all that. And something settled. I don't know what exactly settled. Something settled after that, that much of turmoil I have not witnessed. Although turmoils I have witnessed after that, but that area really got settled, physical part of this solar plexus. So this is something, again mother talks about calling peace in the body. That to some people it may look like theory, but it actually works, for those of us who want to try it out. Yeah. And then mother later on also adds on that if you can further widen this movement by also creating a mental formation that the cells of the body are divine, and the divine is only reality. And owing to the fact that I have gone through cancer, I have been through things that I needed to do many experiments with myself, and this is one experiment which really really helps take away all the anxiety and fear. So no matter if the body is going to die, still at the moment you are in settlement, the peace is there. Yeah. So mother is saying that by aspiration and by concentration, one can bring into the cells of the body this consciousness that the divine is the only reality. Yeah. And mother says here, amazing. Mother says that I am sure that within 5 minutes your suffering will disappear. So 5 minutes is actually nothing, but it's true. I totally buy this thing. Yeah. One has to experiment it, otherwise one
Yeah.
does not know.
That Dr. Yogesh Mohan also taught, no?
Yeah.
You imagine each cell as a child and surrender each organ as a child.
Beautiful.
actually. Yeah, yeah, I'm doing that practice, but even before that, I used to do like that. I used to imagine all my organs and surrender it to mother,
Beautiful.
and really it has lot of effects.
Mm.
Actually, my going to doctor, that frequency reduced. Only after 2 years, I went for a checkup now. Actually,
Beautiful. Beautiful.
everything is normal. So it is really that imagination helps. Imagination
Yeah.
really helps. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's practical. Yeah.
If we see also that day to day life, we are just imagining things about
Yeah.
people, about life, about
Correct.
situations. Most of that imagination is negative imagination.
Negative. Yeah.
And now you are just turning it around.
Yeah. Yeah. How he explained beautifully. It's you are treating all the body spots as a servant, but you should treat them as children. He told
Mm.
actually, because if a servant gets sick, no, we will ask them to go to doctor immediately and take treatment because that servant has to come back for work in our house. So we will expect everything. Like that, you are treating all the body's organs.
Oh,
Because
okay.
we will expect immediately we will expect, no, if there is any pain occurs in the knees or in any part, we will expect to cure it immediately actually. No,
Yes.
you give a time, some time for it to heal actually. Like a
Mm.
child, we won't expect the child to do all the work so you get cured. We'll take them to doctor, but we won't expect like that, no. Let the child
Beautiful.
take rest, we will do that. So like that, you have to treat each and every organ of the body as a child, he
Wow.
told. Hmm. It's a
Beautiful.
very beautiful explanation. Yeah.
Mm.
Because mother's cellular yoga is like that, no? Each and every cell becomes, I mean, alive for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
We require a lot of slowing down in our lives, Otherwise,
mm,
life just goes
yeah.
by. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
You don't have time to, I mean, talk to people. I mean, and generally, I'm telling, after you engage in full time this
Yeah, that's true.
practices and
That's true. There is hardly any time. So totally with you.
mm.
Yeah.
TV, there is no TV. I mean, it is put off completely at my home, actually.
Mm. Mm.
So it's like that only. There are so many things. Very vast it is. It is totally, I mean, a way of life, no? Totally.
Yeah.
Even normally also, mother tells that is very little of what we call good and bad. It could rather be said that there is what is constructive and what is destructive, what is progressive and what is retrogressive. That indeed is very important. And those who are luminous, sunny, happy, smiling, they may be radiant without it being a spiritual radiance. She's admitting that also. They may
Mm.
simply radiate good sense, balance, and inner confidence, the joy of living. She's
Mm.
admitting, yeah,
Mm.
need not be spiritual, but with inner confidence and good sense, they will radiate, it seems actually.
Mm. Mm.
Those who carry in themselves the joy of living. These are in harmony with nature, and being in harmony with nature generally avoid accidents.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Beautiful.
she- everything in all the magazine they are giving no all the collected works of Mother and Aurobindo in nutshell. Actually, very
Yes, yes,
nice.
it's beautiful. Yes.
Yeah,
Makes it easy to read. You can take
yeah,
this book anywhere.
yeah,
Little booklet. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then after this Friday study circle, no, I'm reading all the magazines also.
Ah, okay.
I'm
That's
revising.
nice. Very good. Very good.
Yeah. It likes new only again.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this respect, especially about the daily practice, I wanted to read, it's like a prayer: peace in the storm, calm in the effort, joy in the surrender, a luminous faith, and you will become aware of your aim in life.
Beautiful.
I guess Mother Shravinda has given a lot of emphasis on the action and
Mm.
life and not go away from it. And they have always said that you um, be amidst the actions and be calm.
Yeah.
Do not forget the goal. And if we read the essays on Gita, the very beginning, Sri Aurobindo has explained that this highest philosophy of humankind was given in a battlefield, Kurukshetra. And what is that battlefield? Which is our life.
Yeah.
And second thing he said, that this Lord Krishna could have given it to any of the sages, rishis, but to whom he chose to give this knowledge, it was Arjun. And Arjun is a householder. I mean, okay, he was a prince and he
Yeah, yeah.
was son of Indra, all that is okay, but he was a householder. He had wives, he had family, he had children, he had activities. So, and Kshatriya, not even a Brahmin. He was also a Kshatriya. So he said it was like chosen, that Arjuna was the chosen person because he is destined, and they are, this battlefield is our life, and Arjuna signifies the man
Mm.
or the human being
Mm. Yeah.
who need to execute it.
Yeah. So we were talking about this thing earlier. I was like, maybe I thought of connecting it to something else. So we talk about actions, as you were talking about Gita and Karma Yoga, actions. And so usually we act from that separate self. We act from that person in me who is lacking something, and that is adding on to the karma, as we call, karma is added on and on and on. All the residues are added on and on. And in the very moment in which I am able to act out of my fullness, which we were talking about, when we do this neti neti, we fall back into this fullness, in this awareness. If I am acting in any moment, if I am acting through that essence, if the action is arising through that fullness, that does not add on to the load of karma. That is as if it's cutting off the knot of karma. Yeah. It does not leave any residue. There is no demand, no expectation. It is arising out of a fullness. Although, it's again a progressive journey.
Yeah.
One becomes more and more kind of capable of doing that.
Also, that remember and offer also helps a
Yeah.
lot
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
Actually, this remember and offer is the method,
Yeah.
because I mean, for us normally we are not aware of the higher aim or the higher goal. Like Sri Aurobindo was aware that what he has to do, or he received that inner guidance. And since we are not aware, we have to remember and offer at its point of time, so that we should not make mistakes. And even if we make mistakes, let it be, as Chitradi said, let there be blows to correct ourselves.
Yeah.
And as Monica ji said on that other thing is, once we are indeed aware of the higher goal and we work according to it, then naturally we have not worked as per our own desire. So the results are also, we are not bound by them.
Mm.
As long as we are doing anything out of our own will, desire, ichha, we are also responsible for that result.
True.
I think when we remember and offer, that course will take you to that. Um, we will be connected with that. I mean, that inner essence. I think, no. In course
Mm.
of time, if you remember and offer everything, automatically that higher consciousness. I mean, we will realize that. I think.
Yeah.
Remember.
When I'm not remembering, so we can
Hmm.
also investigate this actually.
Hmm.
When I'm not remembering and offering,
Hmm.
I'm piling up all my karma on myself.
Yeah.
Brick after brick, brick after
Hmm.
brick, brick after brick. So I take guilt on me, shame on me, anger on me, everything
Hmm.
as if I'm on me.
Yeah.
And that me is something which is separate from the divine. So again, that
Hmm.
separation is existing. The ego is loaded with the karma, and it is
Correct.
not, yeah. And the moment I begin to give it away, first of all, this lightness comes in the being that everything is just belongs to the
Yeah.
universe, the
Yeah.
divine, or the awareness. And not even the awards are mine. So neither are the
Yeah.
failures mine, neither are the nor are the successes mine. So then one can live as a flow, as
Correct.
flow of
Hmm.
this consciousness, which expresses itself. Yeah, what were you saying?
Yeah, we won't expect also others, no, to, I mean, to praise us, or
Yeah,
even if they criticize also, it won't affect us, no. That remember and offer helps a lot, actually.
yeah. And even if it may affect, so no, I don't have to become numb like a stone. Even if it may affect, I see that the effect does not have any hold on me. It
Yeah.
is not able to wave me that much
Yeah.
as it used to wave me earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
And again, expectations may be there, demands may be there, but I will not be compelled to act through them.
Yeah.
I could see their movement. Yes, you are there.
Yeah.
Yes, there. But I don't have to act according to you.
It'll arise like small ripple and go off. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That vastness helps me a lot, Monica, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
You told no in one of the class, yeah. Helping me really.
This chitta, Sri Aurobindo talks about chitta, chit,
Hmm.
one buddhi, chitta,
Yeah,
ahankar.
yeah.
Chit, he talks, I think somewhere I read that uh, chit is this uh, where memories are there, that it stores stuff. And the chit should be very supple. It should be very, so our chit mostly is like wet cement. Anything that puts on it, it leaves a mark. And saints and masters have said that it should be very very supple, so things come to it but they don't stick to it, they kind of slip away. So that was really beautiful imagery that I read somewhere, that something comes, maybe an insult comes or a past memory comes, it comes and it just goes away, slips from that surface of the container.
Yeah,
So,
it's from the yeah.
yeah.
It's from the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Man Buddhi Ahankar, Chitta Buddhi Ahankar. And Shervinda has also explained.
Yeah.
But what happens, Manika ji, is whether consciously or unconsciously, those things get
Imprinted.
imprinted.
Yeah.
Even unconsciously, even when
Yeah,
we are
yeah.
trying to make, it gets
Hmm.
imprinted.
True.
And in state of sleep, in state where we are not careful, that is when we do not have the mental control, they come out.
Yeah.
And that is what probably in yoga, that cleansing needs to be done.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what is this yoga? Ultimately, that what you said, that aspect has to be supple.
Yeah.
Like Satprem said one place, that I had to unlearn so many things.
Unlearn. Yeah.
Unlearn.
Yeah. Yes.
And also that cleaning process, no, that definitely we can't do it same
We
sex. I
can't
mean,
do. Yeah.
when you open to mother, again in Alukdas talks, no, he used to tell, open yourself to mother's force. She is doing it for you, and you open.
Yeah.
Don't have any this thing ego also. Don't think as you are a sadhak or you are a yogi or
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you just open to mother like a child. She will give.
Yes.
Even in
Yes.
Savitri, I heard on one of the talk in I think book of yoga. I think those particular lines are there. I will find out and see actually
Mm-hmm.
because mother is doing that atonement. It seems atonement. Yeah, that is we called as prayachita. No, I mean we will
Prashchit.
go to prayachit. We'll go to temples. We'll contact the priest and do everything. No, no, mother is doing for us. It seems
Yeah.
actually this that is the speciality of this yoga. That
Mm.
cleansing part if you really you have to open and whatever she's giving we have to accept it then only
Yes.
her at least we can remember that
Mm. Mm.
as for us I used to do like that every
Yeah.
time if
Yes.
anyone anything comes the traditional ways and if anything comes and attack no I used to remember mother and I offer everything to her actually
Mm. Mm.
yeah. That's a very nice thing.
We usually we what we do is we, as we were discussing earlier, that we make the life situations so big
Hmm.
that we bargain our peace for that life situation.
Correct.
And here, by remembering and offering, what we are doing is we are actually maintaining that peace. We are not making that thing a big burden on our head. We are just giving it away, giving it away, giving it away. Yeah. Yeah. So, anything else, or shall we conclude?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can conclude if there is nothing else.
I will read this and a
Please.
small thing
Yeah.
and we will conclude.
Yes.
This is the decisive discovery of yoga, the crowning realization that there is within us a source of immeasurable force, immeasurable intelligence, immeasurable joy, far above the possibility of weakness, above the possibility of ignorance, above the possibility of grief, which we can bring into touch with ourselves and under orders but not impossible conditions habitually utilize or enjoy. Share Bindu. Same thing we discussed now that immeasurable joy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jishnu
Thank
ji.
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you,
Thank
Chitra
you.
ji.
yeah. Thank you.